Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a mother claims she felt her daughter was in safe hands despite stating the driver was off a moped, was drunk. And firefighter department is changing policies after more than $70,000 was stolen from a member of the department.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Madison Carmouche. We are at 6:30 this Thursday morning. I almost said Friday. I'm just getting ahead of myself. But let's send it over to meteorologist Tim Drawbridge for a look at your forecast.
Good thing you didn't say Tuesday like I did last hour. In the meantime, we're in the mid-40s, down to 45 outside our door here at WYMT. Obviously, fog is a visual to keep an eye on this morning. It's not a widespread problem. It's the typical areas. As things have cooled, condensation takes place, and yeah, that is the fog. 7-mile visibility at Harlan, 5 at Williamsburg. Everything burns off by about 8:30. It's cool, but we're going to rebound very nicely from the mid-40s and the mid-50s with highs region-wide today between 76 and 82. And high pressure smack dab right on top of us, minus the low clouds and fog that formed the last few hours. Nothing going on. We'll take that in the weather department heading for the weekend. And the weekend right now, let's put it this way. We'll continue this theme of seeing the suns. The question is, how warm do we get and when does the humidity return? Your ARH First Alert 7-day forecast and the bus stop forecast coming up in this half hour. Madison?
All right, Tim, thank you. Officials say Interstate 75 was closed due to a crash at the 32-mile marker on the southbound side. 2 tractor trailers were involved and debris was scattered across the roadway. No one was injured in the crash. It opened not that long ago, around 5:20 this morning. 2 people are now in jail accused in the death of a 10-year-old. Police say she died in a moped crash on Interstate 75 in southern Kentucky. Police say Darius Wade was drunk when he rode on the interstate with his girlfriend's daughter with him. The girl's mother, Denisha Martin, is facing a complicity to commit murder charge. In court papers, police say Martin claimed she knew of Wade's drinking problem, but she tells us she felt like it was safe for her daughter to go with him.
When me and my kids got home that night, he was not drunk. He was not acting drunk. I spent time with him, so I know the difference between when he is drunk and when he's sober. And when he left that house, he was not drunk.
Wade was treated for injuries he received in the crash, then arrested. He is charged with DUI and murder. A Laurel County man is facing charges after he reportedly punched a woman in her eye and assaulted her. Sheriff's deputies responded to a domestic violence complaint on Sunday at a home approximately 1 mile away from London. Deputies noted that the woman had a visible eye injury. Police later found Johnny Dale Markham hiding in bushes around a fence line. He was taken to the Laurel County Correctional Center. Kentucky State Police troopers are looking for a man who escaped from the Rockcastle County Detention Center. Here is a picture of 41-year-old Justin Witt. He is described as being 6 feet 2 inches tall with brown eyes and hair. If you have any information, you should call KSP Post 11 at 606-878-6622. Last week, a Pike County fire chief pleaded guilty to theft of public funds. Now the county is discussing how the issue impacted the area. Christopher Chapman, the former Blackberry fire chief, admitted to using his company to funnel more than $76,000 in grant funding for his personal use. The county has locked funding for the department, and Judge Executive Ray Jones says he has yet to hear from those in charge now that Chapman has pleaded guilty, saying future grants or money will not be given until changes are made.
Until we see that there's some changes have been made in the management of the department. This department was flooded repeatedly. We've been working to build a new fire station, to get grant money, hazard mitigation money, to build a new fire station up out of the floodplain.
Jones says he hopes the county will never have to see a situation like this again, saying the departments and their communities deserve better. Camp Lejeune is a military base in Jacksonville, North Carolina, where many veterans and their families were exposed to toxic water. In 2022, the promise to address comprehensive toxics, or PACT Act, passed. One section was the Camp Lejeune Justice Act, which gives veterans who served on the base in the 34-year period from 1953 to 1987 a federal solution. Survivors like Knott County native Brian Ambergy are now working toward an amendment.
Since this has been going on, they said we as Marines and Navy personnel should have been more diligent about what we drink on base. And you out in the field, you ain't got nothing else to drink but the water.
Ambergy says the water used for bathing on the base is also now known to have been toxic during the time period noted. FEMA says it will not restore all disaster-related property losses, but will cover basic needs following storms that happened in May. They say they will cover things such as appliances, clothing, and home furnishings. To be eligible for the items, they must have been owned before the severe weather, which happened between May 21st and 27th. The item also had to be owned and in use by occupants of the household. More than $3 million is being awarded to the Kentucky Housing Corporation. There were some community action agencies in our area that were subgrantees. These include the Bell Whitley Community Action Agency and the LKLP Community Action Council. The grant will be used to weatherize low-income homes as part of the Kentucky Sustainable Energy Resources for Consumers Project 2024. As we mentioned earlier this week, Knott County School Superintendent Brent Hoover has announced he is retiring from his position later this year. Hoover has been with the district for nearly 30 years. He says the decision to step down was a deeply personal and emotional one. He sent a statement to WYMT about his decision to retire. Here is part of that statement, quote, "I want to express my deepest gratitude to the entire Knott County Schools community, our staff, parents, teachers, staff, and community members. Your support, collaboration, and dedication have made my years here truly fulfilling. I am confident that the future holds great things for our district, and I look forward to seeing all the wonderful accomplishments that lie ahead," end quote. His retirement is effective on October 1st. Kentucky's Education Commissioner is laying out his goals as he starts his first school year in charge of the Board of Education. Dr. Robbie Fletcher says his office will look into potential changes to how the state uses money to fund schools. He wants to see a better balance between property poor and property rich districts. Dr. Fletcher became Education Commissioner in July after spending a decade as superintendent of Lawrence County Schools. Kentucky is one step closer to having another cut on state income taxes. The current individual income tax rate is 4% in Kentucky. But in a post on social media made yesterday afternoon, Kentucky Senate Republican Chris McDaniel said the state's budget has met the necessary requirements for an income tax cut down to 3.5%. If approved by the General Assembly, the new rate of 3.5% would go into effect for tax year 2025.
Well, got some fog across the region to get going on a Thursday and deal with it. Guess what? It's gone. You know the fire drill by about 8:30. And with high pressure right on top of us, the lack of cloud cover above the fog this morning, guess what? We got nothing but a good deal of sunshine the rest of the day. All right, dealing with the fog, 46 winds are calm. The fog burns off, temps start to warm up a touch as we head through the next hour to 90 minutes. By the lunch hour, we're back close to 70, so things warm up nicely and quickly this morning, topping out at 78 this afternoon. More about your ARH First Alert 7-day forecast looking through the weekend as summer returns. That's coming up in a few moments. Madison?
All right, Tim, thank you. Ohio Valley Wrestling is making its return to the mountains, this time as pay-per-view event. WYMT's Jack Demler spoke to OVW co-founder Al Snow about the decision.
A wrestling event, the first of its kind, is coming to Pikeville.
I know that other wrestling companies have, come to Pikeville. Pikeville's a very big wrestling community and wrestling town, but not one of them have ever tried to do like a live pay-per-view from here. So we thought we'd be the very first to show the world just how great the fans are here in Pikeville, Kentucky.
Ohio Valley Wrestling is bringing a live pay-per-view event to the Appalachian Wireless Arena on August 31st.
It's no accident that a company like WWE makes usually an annual trip here to Pikeville. The fans here are very supportive and are very driven, and it's a very strong community.
OVW co-owner Al Snow says it's an opportunity to give wrestling fans a national experience for a regional budget.
But they can come and they can actually get a national experience, much like what they would see at WWE, but not have to ransom the house or the kids themselves to be able to pay for it.
Not only is the pay-per-view a milestone for OVW, but it's a special event for the Appalachian Wireless Arena as well.
Hey, this is the first wrestling show that we've had that's pay-per-view, and we're excited for it. The sky's the limit, and there's a lot that we want to do.
Riding the momentum of OVW in the mountains. In Pikeville, Jack Demler, WYMT Mountain News.
One area of Louisville is getting an early dose of Christmas. The Hallmark Channel is filming a holiday commercial in the Norton Commons area this week. The commercial is for holiday greeting cards. Crews decked out some homes in the neighborhood with Christmas decorations and even some fake snow.
Of the houses, the architecture, the amenities, everything looked fantastic. It really matched up with the story we wanted to tell. So we came down a few weeks ago, met some of the neighbors, toured some of the houses, found some locations here that just right for the story that we're trying to put together.
Filming is expected to last through this morning. That's when they'll bring in cleaning crews and a street sweeper to get the neighborhood cleared out.